There's a huge difference.
I got a really good example with Robert West.
What about him?
I caught when I did the filming. I put out the First Amendment Friday last week. I caught huge amounts of flack for
Right.
just working with him. But you know what?
Yep.
Who cares? Okay, so he has.
But these are people who don't know the whole story.
Oh yeah.
I know the whole story. I know the whole story. Why? Because I've talked to Robert about it, and we had a conversation about it, and I know the whole story. And it ain't even anything like that. You know that? There ain't even anything like that. It was words. It was words and words alone. That's all it was.
And half the time the accusations are false or they're made up
100%.
lies that someone's trying to push out there.
100%.
Yeah, it is true that Bob spent time in Pelican Bay Prison. It is true that Bob is technically on a registered sex offender list. It is not true that he raped anybody or he even physically touched another human being.
He uttered words. He uttered words. He uttered words in a time and place. Uttering words can get you charged, and that's what happened. He got railroaded in Ventura County, California. No, I know his whole story.
Yeah,
and I do, and that's why I support Robert. That's why me and Robert are friends.
Oh yeah,
because I know his whole. And just like I know David's story. And Robert's never given me any reason not to trust him at all. So
I can tell you this: Bob is the only person that I'll trust with a key to my house. Bob has my front door key.
Right.
There is no okay. My address is a homeless shelter. Okay, like I go above and beyond the Call of Duty to try to maintain a certain amount of anonymity from the public because I get at least 3 or 4 death threats a month, sent to me about, and not just I'd like to see you dead, but like the actual nature of how they want to kill me with what weapon. It's creepy, some of the stuff I get sent to me, and it's all because of the police accountability activism. But I'm sure the same stuff is happening to everyone else that's out there doing what I'm doing, like I'm sure that have you ever had any kind of threats against your life there, Bunny Boots?
I've only had offhand comments. I actually have not had anybody go to the point of laying out how they want to kill me and all that stuff like you've had, but I'm pretty sure that's going to eventually change at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, and Mike Bluehair's a pseudonym. Like Felipe knows my name. There's a lot of people out in this movement that knows my actual real birth name.
The same here.
Yeah, and like I don't really care. I just use it as a. I went by Mike Bluehair for decades as a my background is I spent years homeless. And every homeless person has a pseudonym. It's just like a street name type thing, and it's stuck. But the internet's a creepy place full of people that want to, a lot of people on the internet are mentally ill and they have access to weapons. So no, I'm not.
This is true. No, this is true. No, absolutely. We were at a couple of poetic hearings back. I think it was maybe this two before. There was an issue. There was an ongoing issue between people, and there was a person that was making bail threats towards me. And well, I'm not one to place. I'll put myself in harm's way, but I will not put my wife's life in harm's way. So I reached out to friends of mine that are uniformed members of law enforcement. I let them know what was going on, and they were there. They were there with cameras. They were there acting as if they were auditors, and and that's what I have to do. Because if I put my hands on somebody, I'm not going to be responsible for what I do to them. They put their hands on somebody, they're 100% responsible for what they do to them. And so you can't put, and it's not like called 911. These are not even official type of situations. Like guys I know with the LAPD say, hey, I got an issue, man. And these are not bootlickers. These are people that wish they could do more to change the situation that they're involved in. They're actually activists in their own world. They're law enforcement reform activists. And that's what they do. So they are an outsider within their own community. And when I reached out to them, I said, no problem, Felipe, because you're always there for us. And they were there, and nobody showed. But I'd rather be careful than be killed, and so or watch my wife get inadvertently injured or killed. That would suck. That would beyond suck. That would suck for them. But I tend to place myself in a situation where I am just like you. I have a couple layers of protection between me and the outside world, not in just because of my activism, but because of who my father was and because of what he was involved in. See, I've been around the underworld of things for quite some time. and the what would be behind the curtain with Wizard of Oz type of situation for quite a long time. So I know the difference between what is and what isn't, and that's a problem here. And I actually, and Bunny Boots and others will tell you, I just recently dipped my toes into YouTube as far as interacting with people on YouTube because I had an opinion about it. I said, man, they're the fucking worst trolls on the planet are on fucking YouTube, but they're not. They're on Reddit, and I stay out of there too.
Yeah,
but,
like if you think
Hey, no,
YouTube's
you're
bad,
still
check
way
out
off. They're on
Paul, man.
4chan.
Check
4chan.
out Politically Incorrect on 4chan or Paul. Like, oh wow.
Oh, I avoid it. I just avoid it. I don't need the drama in my life. I got enough of it coming from real people, not people with keyboards.
Yeah,
but
there is a lot of reprisal that you will get if your address is easily known. Every person I know that's a cop watcher that's done it on the regular has had law enforcement harass either a member of their family or man, Bob had cops calling his father in the middle of the night and asking him to Bob rents a room in Bob's in his father's house. He pays for a room. They're calling his father in the middle of the night asking him to throw Bob out because of his cop watching.
Right, we both know what his dad used to do.
Right, right.
Could you imagine that? Get the fuck out of town, bro.
Right, and I've talked to his dad. His dad's he laughs about it. He's like, I'm not doing that. He's got a First Amendment right to do what he's doing.
Exactly.
But like they'll go after your family. I mean, I'm not going to name names and tell tales, but I'll just give examples. I know people that have had cops. Threaten their family members to make them stop cop watching. I know people that have had law enforcement go to their places of residence and talk to property management companies and say, this person is a police accountability activist. They're filming police and making them uncomfortable. And, I just think you need to know that about the person that you're renting to try to get them thrown out of their apartments. Police will do things like drive outside of people's homes and shine spotlights in their windows. And
I've had them do it here. I've had them do it here because I've had them do it here.
It's annoying and scary to a lot of people. It's scary.
No, I mean, I got cameras in the front, and I'm not going to do. They know who I am. They know that this is a guy who served his community for over 25 years as a firefighter paramedic. This is a guy who knows what's up. He does. And so they can't go hanging something around my neck to say that I'm not. I'm I'm pointing my finger at them, shaming the fuck out of them for doing what they're doing. Yeah. And that's what, and I'll talk mad shit to them. I talk bad shit to them at the courthouses. I talk bad shit to them all the time. I catch them with knives in their pockets or 2 knives in their pockets. I ask them, so when have you taken a class in edge weapons? Well, I haven't. So you'll be cutting fruit or cheese while you work, maybe cutting a rope, maybe doing a little whittling. No. Why are you carrying a weapon that someone can kill you with that doesn't have a retention holster? Is it because it's cool or because your FTO trained you to do that? Hey, how come you know so much? Because I've been working around you motherfuckers for a long time. Dude, lose the knife or put it in a case.
Yeah, I think you just touched on something that's very important. And unless the thing that you mentioned doesn't happen at mass, and until that becomes part of common culture, here's the thing. Law enforcement at this point in our culture need to be shamed into not acting like tyrants. When I film a mass transit stop and they're doing tactical ticket checking, when they have, 8 cops and 3 TriMet officials with a dog on mass transit, and they're charging people $200 tickets because they couldn't afford a $4 max fare.
Unless you've been to Portland, you don't know how silly it is. If you've never been to Portland, you don't realize the numbers that he's talking about, how silly that is.
Yeah, because there's no ghettos here. There's no real violent crime here. People say ghetto because the neighborhood looks a little run down, and I laugh. I spent time homeless in Oakland. Like Portland doesn't have ghettos. It's very. It's like a little big city, but yeah, it's absolutely.
You live near Spring Lake, North Carolina. You know what ghettos are.
Yeah. But the point I was making, until we as a culture start shaming cops when they're doing nothing but generating revenue and stealing from people, and we stop putting them on pedestals psychologically, because you turn on the corporate news and there's 9 versions of Law and Order, and there's a version of cops for everything. They have everything from TSA workers to Royal Canadian Mounties to fish and game warden police. It's like the system thinks that that's the only thing we want to watch. There's like propaganda everywhere. And until we can start shaming them when they act like bullies, when they act like thugs, when they act like entitled little shit babies with weapons, it's important that we shame them. It's one of the things that Gavin Syme does, is he started this whole blue ISIS meme,
right?
And printing up the T-shirts, and Syme is the opposite of me. He'll shame them, but he'll do it politely, and he'll do it with.
He's incredibly polite.
Doesn't use any coarse language at all. But both tactics are needed at this point in our culture, or we're doomed.
That says the only way you're going to get change with law enforcement is to embarrass them. Yep. And that's the truth. And that's what really we're doing. That's what we've been able to do. Look, go all the way back to Sergeant Glanz with the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office. He's caught on camera smacking a guy in the face, acting like a total Glanz. And he was summarily fired before Monday. Why? Because his boss, the sheriff of Saratoga County, saw this video and saw his employee, and that wasn't the first time that guy had created an issue for his agency. Here, these individuals are protected. I'm not against individuals having representation. I'm not against individuals belonging to unions. I'm against politicians being influenced by these individuals. But